Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive?
Absolutely.
So today we're taking on something uh, pretty out there.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, it's a conspiracy theory.
Oh, okay.
The idea that the moon
hmm
might actually be an alien artifact.
Wow. Okay, that's definitely a new one for me.
I know, right? It sounds crazy.
Yeah,
But you know what? That's what makes these deep dives so interesting.
for sure, for sure.
We get to explore these kind of fringe ideas, see what evidence people are pointing to, and, maybe learn a thing or two along the way.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's always good to keep an open mind,
Right.
even if it means entertaining some pretty wild theories.
Exactly. So before we get too deep into the alien stuff, I think we should start with the mainstream science,
Yeah, good idea.
just to kind of lay the groundwork. So the most widely accepted explanation for the moon's formation is the giant impact hypothesis.
Right.
Have you heard
Like,
that?
oh, yeah, definitely. That's the one where a Mars-sized object slammed into Earth billions of years ago.
Right, early in the solar system's history.
Yeah.
And then all the debris from that collision, it coalesced and eventually formed the moon.
Exactly. It's a pretty dramatic story.
It is.
But it makes sense when you look at the evidence. Like, the moon's composition is surprisingly similar to Earth's mantle.
Yeah, that's a good point. So that's the mainstream explanation.
Right.
But, of course, not everyone buys it. Some folks see things a little differently.
Yeah, and that's where the conspiracy theories come in.
Exactly. So let's get into some of the weird things about the moon that have fueled this alien artifact theory.
Okay, I'm all ears.
First off, the moon is surprisingly large compared to Earth,
hmm
like way bigger than most moons relative to their planets.
It's true. It's kind of an odd couple, size-wise.
Right. And then there's the orbit,
Okay, yeah.
nearly perfectly circular.
Hmm, interesting.
That's not typical for captured satellites.
No, not really. Most captured satellites have more elliptical orbits,
Oh.
kind of wonky and less predictable paths.
So the moon's orbit is just too perfect to be a coincidence.
Well, that's what some people believe.
And then there are the craters.
What about them?
Why are they so uniform in depth? It's almost like something was intentionally smoothing them out. Doesn't that seem a little strange?
Yeah, it's definitely one of the things that conspiracy theorists latch onto. But I mean, science does have explanations for these things. It's not like there are no answers at all.
Oh, right, of course. So what does science say about these lunar quirks? The size, the orbit, the craters.
Well, for the size, one theory is that the impact that formed the moon happened at a very specific angle and speed, just the right conditions to create a larger than average moon. As for the orbit, it could be that tidal forces over billions of years have kind of circularized it, so to speak.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. What about the craters?
The depth of the craters could be influenced by the composition of the lunar surface. Some materials might be more resistant to impacts than others.
Right, like some spots are harder than others?
Exactly. So yeah, science has its explanations.
Mm.
But are they satisfying enough to quell the conspiracy theorists?
Probably not.
Not a chance.
All right, well, we've just scratched the surface of the moon's weirdness. Up next, we're going to delve into something even more mysterious. Mask-ons.
Mascons.
It sounds like something out of a sci-fi novel, but trust me, this is real. And it gets even weirder from here.
Can't wait.
So stay tuned. We'll be right back after a quick break.
And we're just scratching the surface here. This whole alien moon theory, it gets even more tangled. Like some people, they link this whole moon as a megastructure thing to ancient astronauts.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Ancient astronauts.
Yeah.
That idea that, aliens visited Earth way back when, like a long time ago, and they had a hand in shaping human civilization.
Exactly. It's like they think maybe these moon builders, if they exist, they're the same beings who inspired all those ancient myths about gods descending from the heavens.
Right, those stories about, like, uh, gods and chariots of fire and stuff like that. Wow, that's a pretty wild thought.
Yeah, it is.
But even if we, like, for a second, entertain this whole idea that the moon was, intentionally built, I mean, just think about the scale of that.
Yeah.
Building something that massive, wouldn't that be an astronomical feat of engineering?
Oh, absolutely. It would require technology far beyond anything we can even imagine right now. We're talking about manipulating matter and energy on a planetary scale.
Like, how would they even do that?
Well, there are theories, of course. Some people talk about gravity control technology or harnessing, some kind of unknown cosmic forces. But we're really in the realm of science fiction at this point.
Yeah, it sounds like it. But hey, that's part of the fun, right? Exploring these ideas, even if they seem, like, totally out there.
It is, it is. It's all about pushing the boundaries of our imagination.
So we've got these claims about, the moon being too big, the orbit too perfect, these mascons, and now like ancient astronaut connections. Is there anything else that people point to as evidence for this alien moon theory?
Oh, there's plenty more. Like, take the moon's composition, for example.
Okay, what about it?
It's incredibly similar to Earth's mantle, which, supports the giant impact theory. But there are these subtle differences. Certain isotopes, they're present in kind of unexpected ratios.
So it's almost like the moon is Earth's twin, but not quite.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's the issue of the moon's incredibly stable orbit. It's almost too perfect, as if it was, placed there with deliberate precision. Tidal forces play a role, but some scientists wonder if there might be other unknown factors contributing to this stability.
So maybe it's not just a coincidence that the moon is where it is.
Possibly not. And these lingering questions, these discrepancies, they're exactly what fuel the imaginations of folks who lean towards the alien artifact theory. They see these inconsistencies as hints that something else is going on, something we don't quite understand.
Like a cosmic puzzle with some pieces missing.
Exactly. But we still lack that smoking gun evidence to actually support the alien artifact theory.
No, like alien blueprints or anything like that?
Not that we've found, but you know what they say, absence of evidence isn't evidence of absence. At least that's what the conspiracy theorists would say. They point to the fact that we've only explored a tiny fraction of the moon's surface. Who knows what might be hidden beneath the lunar dust?
Good point. I mean, we're always making new discoveries, right?
Right. And some of those discoveries are pretty interesting, even if they're not, scientifically convincing. Like, have you ever heard of lunar transient phenomena, or LTPs?
LTPs, no.
Yeah.
What are those?
Basically, they're temporary changes in the appearance of the lunar surface. Like flashes of light, color changes, or hazy patches that appear and disappear. People have been reporting them for centuries.
Really? What causes them?
Most likely, it's outgassing. Gases trapped beneath the lunar surface get released, maybe because of seismic activity or meteorite impacts. But of course, some people believe they could be signs of alien activity.
So the moon could be flashing us signals? That's pretty cool.
It's definitely intriguing. Then there's the whole thing about structures on the moon.
Structures? Like buildings?
Well, not exactly, but people point to certain geometric patterns, strange shapes, and formations that they think are too regular or complex to have formed naturally. They see them as potential signs of artificial construction.
Oh, wow. Like some kind of alien architecture.
Yeah, some people even think they've spotted like giant pyramids or towers in lunar photographs.
But aren't those just like, tricks of light and shadow?
Most likely, yes. These structures are often pretty blurry or indistinct. It's easy to see what you want to see when you're looking for evidence of aliens.
Right. Our brains are great at finding patterns, even when they aren't really there. It's like seeing shapes in the clouds.
Exactly. And that's one of the reasons why conspiracy theories can be so compelling. They tap into our desire to find meaning and connection in the world, or in this case, the universe around us.
So what's the takeaway here? Should we just dismiss all these claims about the moon being an alien artifact?
I wouldn't say dismiss them entirely. While the evidence is lacking, it's good to keep an open mind, right? The universe is full of surprises, and we're constantly learning new things. Who knows? Maybe future discoveries will reveal something totally unexpected about the moon's origins.
That's true. There's still so much we don't know about the moon and about space in general.
Absolutely. And that's what makes exploring these ideas so much fun. It's a journey of discovery, even if we never find definitive answers.
Well said. So is there anything else about this lunar enigma that we need to dig into?
Oh, we've only just begun. There are plenty more rabbit holes to explore.
Okay, so we've talked about like weird craters, titanium, and even the possibility of like alien architects on the moon. What other strange stuff are people using as evidence for this whole alien moon theory?
Well, there's this whole other thing about the moon's internal structure.
Yeah.
Some researchers, they say that seismic data suggests the moon might be hollow,
Hold on.
or at least have these big empty cavities inside.
A hollow moon,
Yeah.
like a giant celestial Death Star. It's kind of a crazy image.
I know, right?
But seriously, how could a hollow moon even exist? Wouldn't it just collapse on itself?
You'd think so, right? I mean, gravity and all.
Yeah.
But some theorists, They propose that maybe, just maybe, advanced alien technology could have created this incredibly strong but lightweight internal structure that could, like, support the moon's shape, even if it was hollow.
Okay.
They point to the fact that the moon's density is way lower than Earth's.
That's true. I mean, I gotta admit, the idea of a hollow moon is pretty awesome, even if it sounds kind of far-fetched. So what does science say about this?
Well, the scientific consensus is that the moon is not hollow.
Okay.
The seismic data that some people interpret as evidence of hollowness can be explained by other things,
Like what?
like variations in the composition of the lunar interior,
That's so.
different materials, different densities.
Right, makes sense. So another strike against the alien moon theory?
It seems that way.
But I still gotta ask, if someone or something really did build the moon, wouldn't there be, like, more obvious signs of construction?
You'd think, right? Seams, joints, maybe even a giant made by aliens label.
Exactly.
But some theorists argue that any such signs might be hidden, like buried under billions of years of lunar dust and debris.
Oh, okay, so we just haven't dug deep enough yet.
Or they say maybe the technology was so advanced that it just didn't leave any visible traces.
So it's like a cosmic game of hide and seek, huh? We're looking for clues, but they might be invisible to us.
Pretty much.
Well, I have to admit, even if there's no, like, super obvious evidence, exploring these kind of fringe theories is pretty mind-expanding.
Oh, yeah, it makes you think about the universe in a whole new way.
It challenges our assumptions,
Yeah.
makes us consider possibilities that at first glance might seem totally crazy.
And who knows, maybe someday we'll uncover something that completely revolutionizes our understanding of the moon.
Maybe we'll find that alien made by label after all. But until then, I guess we'll just have to keep looking up and wondering.
Absolutely. That's the beauty of it all, the pursuit of knowledge, the never-ending quest to understand our place in the cosmos.
Well said. Well, that's a wrap for our deep dive into the alien moon theory.
It's been a wild ride.
It has been. We've explored the strange and the speculative, the scientific and the sensational.
Remember, keep questioning, keep exploring, and always keep looking up.
There's a whole universe of wonders out there waiting to be discovered. And who knows, maybe one day we'll find out that the truth about the moon is even stranger than fiction. Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive. See you next time.